Hey everybody, Erick Landon here again, and I'm back with another top 10. It's gonna be now top 10 best turn-based RPGs, but for portable systems, for handheld consoles. The last time was for TV consoles, and I'm gonna leave that video at the end of this one, so you can watch it in case you missed it. And to tell you the truth, to be honest with you, I don't own most of these games, technically almost all of them, because I had to sell them. Exactly 1 year ago I made a trip to England, to Nottingham, and I lived there for 5 months. So to fund my trip, to fund at least a big part of my trip, I had to sell, sadly, half of my collection. And a lot of these games that I used to own went on that big sale. So I know I'll get them back someday. But don't worry, they're still my top 10, nothing has changed, so I want to share that with you today. My top 10, my 10 favorite JRPG, turn-based JRPGs for portable systems. So let's just begin. Number 10 is very special to me. I have only played this game once in my entire lifetime, because it is the very first JRPG that I played in my life. The very first. I was like 11 or 12 years old. I was 12 years old, I believe. And both the NES and the Super Nintendo were out already, and the Game Boy. So I had a friend, and he showed me the Game Boy, and he showed me this game, this masterpiece. I understand this game is originally called Saga 2 from the Saga series, but I don't know much about that. To me, it's called Final Fantasy Legend 2. And that was the very first JRPG I ever played in my life. And it was a very wonderful experience, because I had never played something like that before, ever. And I know a lot of you started with, I don't know, Chrono Trigger, or maybe the first Final Fantasies for the NES, or I don't know. But me, in my case, I started with something really weird. It's totally a hidden gem. Not a lot of people don't know about these games. There are 3 for the Game Boy. And I played this game original in the first Game Boy, that means originally in black and white. And I made it to a boss battle. I think I was 10 to 15 hours in, I don't remember, that was a long time ago. And I remember that it was a boss battle against Odin and 2 creatures. I think one of them was a unicorn and a bird, the other one. I'm not entirely sure, but the point is that I never made it past that battle. And my friend, who originally lent me the Game Boy, needed it back. So I never made it past that battle, and I gave the Game Boy back along with the game, and I never saw it again. I have never owned this game, actually. I was this close to owning it. I once found the cartridge in perfect condition, in mint condition, in an independent shop, but the price was very high. I mean, these guys, they sell with high prices, they abuse the prices. So I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep waiting. I'll find it someday for a decent price, because I really want to own this game in my collection. Because, come on, it's the very first JRPG, not only turn-based or action or strategy, whatever. It's the very first role-playing game that I ever played in my life. So that's why it's on the list. Number 9, it's another hidden gem. It's called Magical Starsign, another game that I used to own and I had to sell. Actually, it's a pretty cheap game. I have seen this copy for, I don't know, $5, and I'm serious. If I hadn't sold it, I would have put it on my top 10 cheapest RPGs that I own. But I don't. In any case, it's a great game. It's one of those games, I think it's a game that is meant for kids, because it's very childish and it's very simple. The battle system is really simple, the gameplay is really simple. It's far from being a hard game. It's really easy. It gets a little hard every once in a while, but that's just it. I mean, I think it's a game that I would recommend for starters in the genre, or I think it's ideal for kids, but that's just my opinion. In any case, it's a wonderful game, and I strongly recommend it, whether you're an amateur or not. If you're a hardcore JRPG gamer, whatever, just play this game. It's totally recommended, it's totally worth your time, and it's my number 9 because it's not that good, it's just plain simple. It's a nice adventure, a nice experience, just simple as that. My number 8, it's a wonderful game that is based on a book. Actually, it's called Brave Story. The Brave Story is a book, and I want to own that book, and I want to own the game too. I had the game, but for my trip to England I had to sell that game again. In any case, when I first played this game, I was, not fascinating, but I was interested, I was intrigued, because the gameplay of this game is a little classic, so it doesn't, the graphics don't look retro at all. Don't take me wrong, and as you can see right now in the video, the graphics look plain PSP graphics of their time. So, but the idea behind this story, the idea behind the gameplay and the battle system is really retro, it's really classic. So I really recommend this game. I don't think it's a hard game at all. I don't think it's easy either. It's a decent challenge. It's got a good story, a good music, good battle system. It's just a plain good JRPG. And I put it on the list because I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to finding the book one day. I found it in Spanish in a bookstore, but I didn't have money back then, and I know I will someday go back to that bookshop, and if they still have it, I'm just gonna buy the book and then the game. And number seven, my friends, is a game that it's not there isn't a physical copy of this game. It's called Mystic Chronicles. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I put it on my famous top 10 best PSP RPGs. I have never talked about this game actually. I put it on that video, but that video was like 3.5 years ago, and it wasn't meant to be a serious video. There's just screenshots and no commentary, no narrations from me, and I have never talked about that game. So I'm gonna be quick. It's that is a classic in terms of graphics, gameplay, story, and everything. It's a classic retro game. I mean, it was made that way on purpose. It came out for the PSP and later for the PS Vita. So it's only digital. There isn't a single physical copy of this game. I would love to, if there ever was a copy, and I would love to get my hands on it because it's really good. I mean, it's number 7, but to me, there's a huge difference between the previous 3 titles that I mentioned and this game. Like from number 7 and on, these are my seven favorite JRPGs of all time, for turn-based JRPGs of all time for a portable system. So I really recommend to you this game if you're into retro stuff, into games from the NES era or the Game Boy era, or even the Super Nintendo era. You're gonna freaking love this game. The story is so good, the music is perfect. This is a total masterpiece. I have no idea why this game didn't make it into a physical copy, but shit happens. So my next game, number 6, is actually another hidden gem. Yeah, you know I'm into that stuff. If you go into my channel, there's a lot of hidden gems videos, and I'm sure to make more of them. I'm pretty sure one day. So this game was actually on my hidden gems video for the Nintendo DS, and this game is part of the Super Robot Taisen saga. To tell you the truth, I am not into mechas. I am not into giant robots fighting, so I don't really like this series. But this game, Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier, this was the very first game of its kind for the portable system to create. I mean, this was the basis for the famous Project Cross Zone. I mean, first there was Namco vs. Capcom for the PS2, which never made it out of Japan, made by Monolith Software, and this other game, Endless Frontier, was also made by Monolith Soft, and Monolith Soft also made the Project Cross Zone series. And if you look right now at the video, or if you play this game, it's very, very similar. The battle system is entirely similar to that of Project Cross Zone. So it's a really good game. The battle system is so addictive. The gameplay is really great. A downside thing that I'm going to talk to you about is the fan service. I think in this game is way too much, but whatever. If you don't mind fan service, you will enjoy this game anyway. And the last thing that I have to say is that this game invites characters from other games. For example, you have Reiji and Xiaomu from the Project Crosszone series and the Namco vs. Capcom series, and it also includes the famous Cosmos from Xenosaga. So I really recommend this game. It's pretty fun, the story is great, everything in this game is extremely good. This shouldn't be a hidden gem, but since it's part of a series called Super Robot Tyson that almost nobody knows in this planet, that's why it's a hidden gem. But it's totally worth it. I really recommend it. And for my number 5, Endless Frontier does exist in a physical copy, but I have never gotten my hands on it. I hope I will someday because it's really good, but I've heard it's expensive. I think I've seen it on eBay for like $50. Yeah, 50, 60 bucks I think, maybe less, maybe more, I don't know. And I'm gonna wait for it to get a little cheaper, or maybe someday I will get an opportunity to get it for a decent price. And that is the same case for my number 5, which is Suikoden Tierkreis. Yeah, you know I'm a big fan of the Suikoden series, I know you know. So it had to be, right? I would have gladly put the PSP version on this list, but it's Japan only, and I haven't really played it because I don't understand Japanese. So they made a really good attempt to revive this series or to make a new universe, because this Suikoden is not, it doesn't take part in the same universe as the previous Suikoden. So I really recommend this game. If you're really into the Suikoden series, maybe you're not gonna like it because it's a little bit different. I mean, it follows the same formula of recruiting 108 characters and fighting in war battles and all that stuff, but it's a little bit different from the previous entry because it was obviously made with the intention of taking the series to an entirely new direction, but it didn't work. That's the funny part of it. It didn't work because after this game the series failed. The PSP version didn't make it out outside Japan, and I've heard it's not that good. So after the PSP version, the entire Suikoden franchise died miserably. But it's still my number 5 because it's really a great game. Even though it's different from the previous Suikoden, it's still great. Okay, so for my number 4, it is a game that I have never owned also. I think it's not that expensive. I mean, there's 2 versions. There's the standard version and the limited edition version. The standard version, I don't think it goes for over 30 or 40 bucks, but I have never seen this game in physical, at least not in my country. I have only seen it on eBay. I'm pretty sure you can find it on eBay. In any case, this game is pretty famous now. It used to be a hidden gem, like really hidden, but thanks to Trails of Cold Steel, this game is not hidden at all, because it's the one who started it all. It's called The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. Yeah, great game, beloved JRPG for the PSP. Everybody who has played this game fell in love with it. In my case, okay, I really love this game too, like everybody else, but with a little bit difference. People say the story of this game is really great. I disagree. I found the story to be very cliche, anime style and all that stuff. It has all of the cliches of anime and all that jazz. But despite that, I really like it. I enjoy the story, I enjoy the gameplay, the battle system, everything. I mean, this game is really good. I strongly recommend it. I mean, if it's that famous, it's for a good reason. Unlike the previous games, the Legend of Heroes trilogy, there's Legend of Heroes 2, Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch, then A Tear for Vermilion, and then Song of the Ocean, I believe. Those games are good, but they're pretty mediocre. I don't know why. If you play those games, you're gonna feel like, okay, this is nice, but I have nothing more to say about these games. In any case, they're good games, but then after those games came Trails in the Sky, and it revolutionized the saga, the Legend of Heroes title. So I haven't played the Trails of Cold Steel. I have no idea what kinds of games they are, if there are turn-based or action. I don't know, I don't want to find out because I want to, I don't know, I just want to play them and have my own experience on them so I can decide whether I want to be a part of the hype for those games, because I've heard they're really good. But if you haven't played Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, do it. It's a wonderful game. It's part of another trilogy. Unfortunately, part 2 and part 3 have never made it out of Japan, I believe, and I have never seen a physical copy of them, so I haven't played them, and I have no idea what the hell is up with those two other games. So let's talk about my number 3, my last 3. Hexyz Force is my number 3. I have talked about this game a lot on my channel. If you watch my videos, you're gonna see this game in like 3 or 4 of my videos, because I freaking love it. And it's another turn-based RPG. It's divided into 2 stories that merge at the end. But I'm just gonna be redundant. I'm sorry if you watch my previous videos. I'm gonna say exactly the same as I usually say on these videos, because that's what got me, you know, that's what made me fall in love with this game. And that's the part in which you can choose each character and play their own routes, and each route of these two protagonists, is entirely different. Because usually when you play these sort of games, I don't know, take Star Ocean 2 for example, or Star Ocean 1, most of the events, or Tales of Xillia it's another good example. It doesn't really matter if you choose one protagonist or the other, because 80% or 90% of the game is exactly the same cutscenes, the same story, the same gameplays, dungeons, the same boss battles, etc. But in Hexyz Force, that's something that doesn't happen. Each route is entirely different. This also happened in a game called Cartia for the PS1. I put it on my hidden gems for the PS1. And I think it's the same case, I remember, because no matter which character you choose, the routes are very different. So totally recommend it. If you want to know more, watch my other videos. Okay, my number 2, man, I have also talked about this game, not as much as Hexyz Force, but it had to be number 2 because I prefer this game. I mean, there's a huge difference between the rest of the list, from Hexyz Force and on, to my last 2. My last 2 are like my greatest favorite turn-based JRPGs of all time for a portable system. And number 2 is Fate Extra. Is part of the Fate Stay Night series, as a lot of people know, and not many have played this game. Fortunately, it's a hidden gem. I consider this game to be a really hidden gem, and because most people have only played the fighting games for the Fate franchise, and or the visual novels, but a lot of people don't know there's an excellent JRPG with a very original system, like rock paper scissors system, and it's really fun to play. I really recommend searching for this game. Search for reviews, search for gameplays on YouTube, whatever. You're gonna have to play this game because it's really good. I strongly recommend it. And what I wanted to say is that not too many people are familiar with it. Not too many people know there's a JRPG for this series. And I think, fortunately, as I was saying earlier, fortunately there's gonna be a series. I think there's gonna be an anime based on this game. Hopefully that's going to make the game more famous and the price more accessible, because I think it's really expensive. I don't think it's less than $60, but whatever. I don't own this game. I have never owned this game, and I really want to own it. But for my last number 1, my number 1, of course I had to have it. I do. And it's this little masterpiece that I keep talking about in all of my videos. If you've seen my other videos like Hexyz Force, this is a game I talk about a lot. It's on my hidden gem video, it's on my best story videos, it's everywhere because I love it, because it's so wonderful. If you play this game, you're going to agree with me, I'm right. Well, it's a matter of opinions, you know that. But I think a lot of people agree with me, and it's a wonderful game. I could go on for the rest of the video talking about it, but I think I've talked about this game a lot in my previous videos. To make it short, It's a game about in which you have a book and you can traverse to different timelines, to alternative timelines, in order to change the facts, so you can prevent a chaotic disaster at the end of the game. So that's the gist of the game. That's really interesting. The story is very solid. The characters are so lovable. This is not your classic childish story. I mean, it has some childish stuff, some anime cliches, but there are just a few of them. I mean, it's a really original, mature story. So I strongly recommend this game to those who are looking for something different, that want to get out of the entire cliche of the JRPG genre. If you want something different, play this game. It's really good. I strongly recommend it, and I will never get tired of doing so. And anyway guys, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time as usual.